Hey again, guys. Back here with another video. Just got finished listening to this record start to finish. I told you I'd come back with another video just on the sound quality of this pressing. Now, I'll say this. This is going to be a really hard record, and I kind of anticipated this before I played it, but this is a very hard record to review because this kind of material, it's probably the worst case material you could possibly listen to on vinyl because it's very quiet, most of it. If you can probably kind of assume what kind of material is on there. It's, kind of creepy, few little piano hits here and there, a lot of ambient synthesizers, things like that. It's exactly the kind of music that's going to highlight any possible flaw in a record. So that said, I was expecting, to hear a greater amount of pops clicks than I'm used to. And there are quite a few, I have to say, on this pressing. I was a little bit, I don't want to say disappointed. Like I said, with something like this, something this ambient and quiet, again, worst case scenario for vinyl. You have to factor that in. And had this been a louder record, that has nothing to do with the quality of, the release. Had this been louder material, things might not have stood out to me as much as they did. That being said, I have to review it on its own merits, and it was a little bit noisy for me, frankly. My preferred way to listen to this material going forward is I'm going to, my computer unfortunately has crapped out in the last few weeks, so I don't have access to what I need to do this right now. But what I really want to do is stream this into my computer, record it digitally, clean it up for pops and clicks, separate the tracks out, have a digital backup. That's probably how I'm going to listen to it, and keep this package as a collectible because it is very nice. But prepare yourself for this kind of material. There are some pops and clicks, and it's not as clean as some of the records that I put myself up at the very top of best records that I've listened to, that I own. Again, I'm also judging it, another caveat to that is that I'm also judging it on the first play. Now, I rarely, this is 3 LPs. Usually what I'll do if I'm doing a sound review for an LP is I will give it 2 plays because in my experience, something brand new, I mean, you don't know what the manufacturing process was, you don't know how dirty it is. Honestly, when I opened these up, like the records, they looked relatively clean, but they also looked, it sounds contradictory, but maybe a little bit, sometimes you'll get a new record and it's got kind of a scuff on it, but it's not dirt or anything. It just looks like, I don't know, it's something about the way it was manufactured. There's something like a recurring kind of moire pattern on the vinyl, and a couple of the sides had that. So it wasn't, 100% crisp and clean. I'm hoping to get a spin clean soon, and this is one of those records I think might actually really benefit from going through that, and getting de-staticked and all that. So, some of the pops and clicks could have to do with needing to go through that process, and it could be static in my house. It is getting a little cooler. My house is very staticky, full disclosure, typically. A lot of times, I'll touch my needle on my record player and get shocked. So could be static, part of it, but it is, in my opinion, kind of a louder pressing than I personally was hoping for. Now, that said, I'm gonna get some of the negatives out of the way. The positive is the music itself, the mastering of the material is fantastic. I mean, as far as the dynamic range is phenomenal, the separation and the speed, the sound field is great. the presence of the music sounds great. The instruments really feel like they're in the room with you. The material itself, the quality of the sound is great. Those pops and clicks. I'm making a very hard distinction between the sound quality of the music, the mastering, and the pressing. I was not that pleased with the pressing, unfortunately. I'm thrilled with the mastering of the music. One more side note, just from my own personal preference, and your mileage may vary with this. I was a little bit confused with this, the final side there, if you can read that, with all of the themes being presented at the very end. I don't know if that, I know on the single LP release, it starts off, side A starts off with the main theme song, which is the best one on here, which is the 1991 extended, I believe it's extended theme 91. That's a great track, and my personal feeling is most people are probably going to be cool with the single LP, and here's why. This is all really good material, and I'm personally glad that I have the 3 LP. I think it was worth the extra money. On the other hand, I thought it was very strange, curious kind of decision to put all those themes at the end, because myself, when I put on this record, the first thing I want to hear when I put that in is the Unsolved Mysteries theme. Like, that's the first thing that needs to be coming out of my speakers, is it get me in the mood to listen to the rest of it, get me in the mood to watch an episode of the show. It just sets the mood for the rest of the record, and to not have that at the beginning, I think was a little bit odd. To just go into various episode soundtracks, I thought was kind of a curious choice for me. Also, I was a little bit disappointed that there's like 5 versions of the theme on here. Yeah, it says Unsolved Mysteries Extended Theme 91. Now it says Unsolved Mysteries Closing Credits 95. That is not the closing credits that you're wanting. And that really did kind of disappoint me. The closing credits of the show from the 80s, nowhere on here. And I don't understand that. Like, if there were 2 things, if I were in charge of this release, that I would do, the theme song has to be first, and the closing credits has to come last. Like, if it was me doing this release, that's how I would have done it. It just, the last thing you want to hear is those end credits. The first thing you want to hear is that opening theme song. Personally, I didn't even need the theme songs from the later iterations of the show. You know, this to me is about the Robert Stack years. So I didn't really get it. They felt more like, I'm not even familiar, honestly, with the later versions of Unsolved Mysteries. I'm more of the Robert Stack era fan. That's all I thought this was. So to me, that's just extra filler. It sounded more like remixes to me, because I didn't even watch that update of the show. So, and there were just a couple of omissions. Like I said, that end credit music, to not have that, I was really disappointed. I wanted to have that, and that the normal update music, that's not on there. I was kind of surprised that wasn't there too. So wasn't really anticipating having really, really well-known cues that weren't there especially on the 3 LP release. I thought, okay, well, they'll all be there. There's like 5 versions of the theme. That's another thing. The opening theme, the older version, the 91 theme, there is also, if you just look on YouTube and look up Unsolved Mysteries theme, there is another version of that theme. I don't know if it dates earlier than the 91 theme, but it's a little different. And I was expecting more versions of that theme, not different themes, like updates to the original theme. I thought there would be more variations on the original Superior theme, and there's not. So I found that a little bit disappointing. Like out of 3 LPs, you've got the theme that I know once, and no closing credits. So I was a little bit let down by that. And just the placement of where the themes are. I mean, honestly, if it were me, I mean, you got 5 themes and you've got 6 sides, I would have started each side with a theme, so that way at least each side opens and gets you in the mood for the music. I know I'm talking a lot of negatives here. I'm super glad to have this. It's really cool. There's a lot of really neat sounding stuff in there. It's great to have before Halloween. This will be awesome to put on as like a background ambient track if we have like a Halloween party and kind of take the lights down and just to have that spooky atmosphere. It'll be great. Now there was a side, I think it was side, a lot of sides because it's 3 LPs, but I want to say it was either the second to last side or maybe the one before that, where there were just a lot of kind of quirky sounding tracks. Kind of it killed the mood just a little bit. Like there was a lot of the types of tracks you would assume would be on a Ghost Unsolved Mysteries record in the first couple of LPs, and I kind of felt like, or maybe the first several sides, and there was a side in there where it just kind of everything kind of got a little weird and more percussion based and a little funkier, more 80s sounding, not quite as creepy. So that kind of took me out of it momentarily. Again, this is why I think most people are probably going to be satisfied. I think with the single LP, just having that that old original theme at the beginning. But yeah, really wanted that end credits track because I always thought that was super creepy too. I guess it's the trumpet. I think it's trumpet. The trumpet theme at the end. I really liked that one. But anyway, maybe that'll be on the next one, the UFO compilation, if Ryan gets to press that. So anyway, that's my review of the sound quality. If I had to go off of a 5-star system, if I'm hard pressed, I'd give it a 4 out of 5, only because I do think it's a little noisy personally, but the material is going to reveal every problem. Probably would sound just fine if this were a rock album, but it's not. So I got to take a little bit off. If it was, if I was on a 4-star scale, I'd probably give this 3 stars. Out of 5, I'd say I'd give it 4 still, just because I know those aren't quite comparable, but I got to give it, that's a little higher, honestly. Like if this was anything else, if this was just a normal like film score, which I collect a lot of those, I'd probably give it more of a 3.5 out of 5 for sound quality. But given what this is, and given the rarity of this material, and the fact that this material is not available anywhere else, I got to give it a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, and the fact that it was spin 1, it was not subsequent spins, because a lot of times that first play, it's getting all the dust and residue out of the grooves, and I tend to have better experiences playing it a second time, third time than I do the first time. So that's my review. I know it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but just giving you my honest impressions. Don't get this expecting to be like utterly blown away by the quality of the pressing. The quality of the music is great, very, very good, very strong, but the record, slightly underwhelming, I would say, my personal opinion. About a 4 out of 5. Which is still good. It's just, this is something that I was so anticipating, and I was so confident that I would be giving a 5 out of 5. I thought there was no way that I wasn't going to give this a 5 out of 5. So in that sense, I find it a little bit of a letdown, but I'm still very glad I got it. Hope you guys will still consider buying the 1 LP. I think you'll be very, very happy with that and more than satisfied with it. Okay, that's my impressions. Thanks.